Oh, yeah. Freak out. Yeah, I'm looking right into the video scope, And this is Macho Man, #1 Macho Man impersonator, past, present, future, yeah. And I'm here to tell you, you are watching 49er Minded with Bashar. Yeah, the cream of the crop. Dig it?
49er Minded.
It's not just a thought process, but a way of life.
49er Minded. 49er Minded. I can't shake it. It's 49er mind that I got. It's 49er shine that I got. My psyche's on another Frisco Super Bowl. Don't sit slow, cause here we go with a super show. A red and gold session about our red and gold obsession. With some well-controlled expressions, let's talk about that win that we got. Who should have been in the spot? That's how it's been in the spot. That's all that back, all that crack, all that straight fumble sack. Or just dial it on up if you wanna talk smack. It don't matter what the story on, as long as the story aligns with a 49er mind. 49er minded.
It's not just a thought process,
49er minded,
but a way of life. For sure.
49er minded.
Way of life.
49er minded.
What is up, everybody? It's been long overdue, a special training camp edition for 2023 of 49er Minded. I'm hyped, and here to help me out, host this special is none other than Twin Maker, or known as Twin Empire on YouTube. How you doing, bro? Tell everybody what you're all about.
Hey, man, what it do? How y'all doing? This wonderful nightcap of this Monday, man, of this pad. Hey, this your boy Twin. Hit me up on Twin Empire. Make sure y'all follow and like. Big ups to my boy Bashar coming through in the clutch. Had to get on, talk about this wonderful, wonderful day of training camp, man. So I'm excited. Hope you guys are excited too as well. Let's get it.
Yes, sir. And speaking of clutch, I hit this guy up at the last minute, maybe 3 hours ago, and we were DMing each other on Twitter. And the wonderful genius he is, Elon Musk, came up with this brilliant idea of limiting people's DMs now. Apparently, I had no idea. It hit me out of nowhere. I kept trying to send this guy the same DM about 5 times in a row, and it just kept telling me, "Oh, if you'd like, you can subscribe. If you want unlimited DM." I'm like, "What is this?" And I was trying to DM him the damn link for the show. So I said, I tweeted him, I tagged him. I was like, "Hey, bro, man, I can't DM you. Give me your email address." And so we did it we did the old-fashioned way via Gmail. And hey, we're here though. We're here. Shout out to everybody in the chat, by the way. We got Platform 246 waiting patiently to support, and Kinlaw like that button. Oh, Kinlaw that like button. Okay. John G says he's here. John V says he's here for the strippers. May have hit on the wrong channel, John V. Sorry to disappoint you, man. With none of that going on today. JG638, what up? That's my boy OG from Twitter. That's Trey haters. I said traders. Trey haters are quiet as a mouse check. We'll get into that. David McNiner says, "Let's F and go Niners." We got Ryan in the house. No Border Sports. This might be some of you know. He's a
Sadiq.
Cowboy fan. Is that your brother?
Nah, that's my that's one of our homegirls, man. She be representing for the family, you know.
Okay, Sadiq. Yeah, that's a girl's name. Yeah, not bad.
For sure.
Yeah. So welcome to the channel. We appreciate you. If you're new to the channel, hit the like and subscribe button. We're actually broadcasting on a dual broadcast. It's also on Twin Empire's channel as well. So show some love on that channel as well. I'm almost at 1,000 subscribers. We're gonna get there. I'm not even pushing for it much anymore. I stopped pushing for it because I know one day I'm gonna wake up, it's gonna happen. So it is what it is, you know. But hey, in this YouTube world, if you get 1,000, you're still like a tiny fish in the pond. People got 6,000 subscribers, 4,000 subscribers. And just letting everybody know, this is a call-in show. It's a bit of a last-minute show that we put together, but I'm going to be dropping a link. Just want to say what's up to some other people really, really quick. Niner, you love to hate. 510, known as Easy, says, what was he saying right here? Says, "I don't think Purdy will look good for another month or two." Okay, if at all. Cut the crap and start Trey if he has a good camp. Okay. We got Kenny Goldsmith. What's up, Kenny? Good to see you. It's been a long time no see. Corey Davis is here. Check out Corey Davis's channel. And let me just drop the link to call in on the show. Now, keep in mind, you don't have to do a video call. You don't have to show your face if you don't want to. You can just make it like a regular audio call. We understand. We get that. So it is what it is. But there you go. That is the StreamYard link to call in on the show. And let's just talk about before we get any callers. If we do get callers, we'll stop whatever we're doing and then make sure we talk about the callers really quick. But this is my first show since a week, and a lot's been going on, man. 49ers have had two major hires. They hired a whole bunch of other people, but we all know who the two major hires are and the ones that matter. And you probably know their names. You can say their names already.
I mean, we got Frank the Tank. You know what I'm saying? And Mr. Goldstone himself, you know what I mean? So it's always good to see people reach back and bring in their expertise and their experience, back to 49er land. So it's always a wonderful thing when you see these guys coming back and, these young players are able to look at those guys and be like, man, I made a play with them on Madden and things of that nature. And they bring in not only knowledge, but experience to the game. So I'm very excited, you know what I mean, about that.
My bad. I was muted. The Frank the Tank one was really, really nice. I mean, it was something that I kind of saw coming, but then again, I was thinking maybe it won't happen because for the past few years, Frank has been palling around with, John Lynch or with Kyle Shanahan or with Jed York at times. Here's one for you. I don't know if you guys know this, but there's an actual video of it. If I could ever find the damn video, I mean, I saw this video 2 years ago, but long story short, when the 49ers were looking to draft the quarterback a few days before the draft, Jed York hit up Frank Gore and said, hey, look, watch videos of these 4 or 5 quarterbacks and get back at me and tell me who you think is the best, who you like. Coincidentally, Frank Gore hits up Jed York. Jed York has a video where he's saying this actually, where he's talking. And Jed York says, you got to draft Trey Lance. Now, we're in 2023 now. We know it's not all roses and daisies. We made the pick, but it's not the smooth transition and easy going as we thought it would be. But that's part of it. But it's cool. It's cool that the 49ers still hold Frank Gore in high regard. And they look to give him a front office type position of some sort. Deshaun Goldson's helping the DBs, and they made some other. They hired some other guys, even some strength and conditioning coach or whatever. But we do have a caller here. We just hired the people. We just basically covered like the new hires and all that. And we do have a caller though. And when we bring on the callers, feel free to talk whatever you want. Ask whatever question you want. Don't be tied to what we were just talking about. We just got these filler topics going on because a whole lot to talk about training camp. But without further ado, we got Corey Lockdown Davis. How you doing, bro? Great to have you, man.
Hi, nice to see y'all.
What it do, Cole? How you doing today, boss?
I'm doing good. So how was the first day of pads?
First day of pads. Well, again, I wasn't there to see how it was going down, but heard a lot of stories. And there was a fight today. Tay Martin and Quantrez Knight? I'm not really sure what the details of it, how it began and how it started. I don't know if you knew about that, Twin. Did you know about the details of the fight?
Hey, listen here. When them things start swinging, you know what I mean? That's when football is here for real. You know what I'm saying? So I loved it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, go ahead, Corey.
So I'm looking forward for the start of the season because I'm ready to see who's going to be our quarterback. I'm tired of people fighting over this. I'm ready.
There's plenty of fighting in regards to Twitter and the quarterback position, and Twin and I know all about that, man. So hopefully it will ever cease. I don't know about this season. I don't know. Maybe give us 5-10 years, maybe when they move on to somebody else. I don't know, man.
But hey, let's be honest though. I believe this is all planned. Everybody knows that all these major teams, they build their businesses. They have PR teams. They have marketing teams. They have these people that are outside doing this legwork to hear what's going on in these echo chambers, in these spaces, or in these Twitter worlds or YouTube spaces, so on and so forth. And they know it. They hear it. But they feel that it's generating content, generating clicks and likes, things of that nature. And sometimes they probably believe in, the motto of any news is good news. And it's unfortunately that we have this situation in the quarterback position. So I think Kyle and John sit back and really are stirring the pot with this because those guys played. Their father played in NFL. I mean, Kyle Shanahan, his dad coached in the NFL. John Lynch played in the NFL. They know the rigmarole, and so I think they actually like this more than they like it. I think they sit back and laugh and sip tea.
They like it a whole lot more than us fans do, baby. How about that? And at the end of the day, though, we are the team. Now, some will say we shouldn't be doing this. Some will say we should, but we are. At the end of the day, we are the team that ended up with no quarterback in the playoffs, right? That's pretty much what it was. We ended up with no quarterbacks. So we have a Brock Purdy coming off a serious UCL injury, which only I believe 2 other quarterbacks in the NFL had that injury. Was it Nick Mullins and Jake Delhomme? I believe were the only 2.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a huge question mark. And I know Purdy, amazing recovery. Let's just say this. We didn't expect him. I didn't expect him to be ready to throw at this point at the start of camp. I was on my show numerous times saying, hey, Purdy's probably going to start throwing, let's say, maybe right when the season starts, maybe like at week 1 or maybe by week 4, he'd be cleared to play. If that, I was very pessimistic about it, only because he's coming off this major throwing surgery on his throwing arm, but his recovery has been great. Now, who knows how long it's going to take him to get to what he was last year? That's a whole different question mark, in my opinion.
Yeah. What y'all think about is Elijah Mitchell gonna make the season?
What do you think, Twin?
I mean, so one thing we know about Elijah is not because of his ability, it's because of his availability. That's the only thing that would keep Elijah Mitchell not on the San Francisco 49 roster or 53-man roster this year. My thing for him is just make it through training camp upright. I think it will be 2 consecutive training camps in a row if he actually get hurt again. This one, that he's always had an injury, man. So as long as he's healthy, I believe he will make it. I know that we, what's my guy name? Everybody was looking forward to Jordan Mason. We want to see what he can do, but he had a little fumbleitis over the weekend. So, whenever you get a little, that ball starting to feel like a greasy BB, you'll be in the doghouse. And there's one thing about Elijah Mitchell. Eli don't drop that ball, you know what I'm saying? He don't let that ball touch the ground. So as long as those things are happening, I believe he'll be secure. And not only that, TDP is coming along, but with Kyle, he's a guy who likes to know what you will do in games. So I believe Elijah Mitchell still has a firm control on RB2 position, but it could be subject to change if an injury happens once again.
Very true. And I love Elijah Mitchell for what he did on the field. I mean, it's just a sad story of him not being able to stay on the field. It's so weird. When he's on the field, he's that one, you got 1A with CMC, you got 1B with Elijah, and it's awesome. It's beautiful when they're available both together. But from what I was hearing, Grant Cohn was saying something. I didn't catch the exact detail of what he said because I didn't rewind it, but I heard him say something to the point of Elijah Mitchell getting slammed to the ground like in practice for the linebackers, and I don't know what's going on there. I don't know why they were roughing him up a bit, but something like that was going on today in practice. So hopefully it stops because he's definitely somebody that we need to keep healthy.
Yep.
Hey, but listen though, if he don't bounce back up like a round ball, it is what it is. Like I said, you want to be healthy, but at the same time, you're like, hey, Eli, you got to get a little callous, man. Like you gotta, come on, my guy. You can. I don't know if you ever travel in the airport and they wrap you up and say fragile, will break easily. Look, we got to cut that out, man. We got to make sure my man stay upright and you just tighten up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want him to get hurt, but I'm assuming my boy Dre Greenlaw was like, hey, CMC ain't practicing every day. I need somebody to touch up on. And so unfortunately, Eli is you.
Mm-hmm.
You brought up a point though about not CMC but Jordan Mason though. A lot of these Niner fans were really excited what they saw in Jordan Mason last year, and we were hearing that he's gotten into great shape and he's even looking possibly more explosive with more breakaway speed, you could say. But he's been a little, like you said, that he's not holding on to that football, and some of the same Niner fans who were excited about Jordan Mason were willing to write off TDP. And don't forget, was it a few days ago, 3 or 4 days ago, where TDP, I believe it was one of the first practices where TDP caught a huge pass from Trey Lance, a 30-yard pass. So that told me, and I remember Grant Cohn saying a few things about OTAs and minicamps that TDP's not going to be there. He's not just going to pussyfoot around training camp and say, hey, yeah, you got to play me or whatever. He's going to work hard. he's a tough runner as well. I mean, he's hard to bring down, and just because we may have fumbled on a few, not the Freudian slip right there, but we've been messed up on a few picks of running backs with draft picks with Kyle for lately, and Trey Sermon's obviously the most obvious, the most recent one. It doesn't mean that TDP is just terrible just because we drafted him in that same similar type round. You never know; he may actually pan out and improve his worth. So.
Yeah, most definitely, man. Like I say, with TDP, we know we lost what's my guy named Trey Sermon last year, 3rd round draft pick. Eventually, one of these 3rd round draft picks got to get some PT. Danny Gray, what up to you, my guy? I hope everything's going well. Stay healthy. I can't wait for you to have a breakout day quickly as well. So, also with running back depth, we all know we want our running backs to stay healthy, especially CMC. But just in case something happens, it's good to have at least 2 workhorses behind you. The way that we run the ball, and we're not a pass first team. So, as many as those guys are looking good in camp, that bodes well for us to be more multi-dimensional back there in the backfield.
How many quarterbacks do y'all think we're going to keep?
I'm thinking 3. Three. Yeah, even though they did change that rule up, but it's not like the NFL did anything to increase it. They did change the rule where you could. I don't remember how the quarterback rule is now. To come and think, if you guys can remember, clue me in. But it's not like they did anything to increase the salary cap for another quarterback position, because quarterbacks don't necessarily come cheap. And we got Darnold in there, was a former 3rd round draft pick as well, and now we got Brandon Allen. So it's, I don't know, man. I don't know if they're going to keep one on the practice squad or not. We'll see.
I think they will. To answer your question, Corey, I think they're going to use that position actually for somebody else, like on game day, because usually, I mean, it's crazy. It's an anomaly that we go through 3 quarterbacks in one day, but we could use that extra person in D-line, O-line, whatever, special teams. And so I think they will continue to manage it that way. It'd probably be one of those anomalies again that we'll go forth and use a 3rd quarterback throughout the season, though, man. I think it's just that roster spot is very, very important. And we know quarterback supposed to be one of the most secure position areas out there.
Yeah, they say it happened before when Alex Smith, 2007. We had to bring in somebody off the street.
Yeah, we had a rough that year. We even had Trent Dilfer, a really, really bad version of Trent Dilfer taking snaps for us, and that wasn't fun. When Alex got hurt, messed up his shoulder, and yeah. But Corey, we're gonna be taking another call. Anything you want to say? Talk about your channel or anything like that, or about the Niners really quick? Just drop something really quick before we go off to the next channel.
Okay.
And the next guest,
every Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific time, I do 49er trivia. So come join me. And if you're smart, you know your 49ers, come see how much knowledge you know about your 49ers.
We got it. All right, let's go, Corey. Take care, man. Good to have you on, man.
Salute.
Good to have you. All right, so we're going to bring on our next guest. Some of you may know him. Some of you may not know him. He's in the chat, but he's also here. It is Ryan from No Border Sports. Check out his YouTube channel out. What is up, bro? How you doing, man?
What up? What's up, twin?
What's cracking, man? I never met you before, but what's up, man?
Oh, man, you guys are going to get along just fine, man.
Hey, he's a Niner fan.
You guys are always happy for good reason.
Hell yeah. What's up, gentlemen?
Really quick, let me say what's up to a couple of people in the chat that I kind of missed. But they know. So we got Randy Daytona says, I'm in a bad state of mind. So what's up, Faithful? He says, like Madden, you scout a guy, he's the man, then report comes out and he's injured or whatever. Okay, got you. All right,
it's
so
a way of
here.
life.
Bashar. Bebop Jones here says, howdy, folks. We got Platform 246 is what's happening. Bashar, Twin, Corey, and Faithful.
What up, Lawrence?
Great to have you. And there goes No Border Sports right there. If you're not subscribed to No Border Sports YouTube channel, check them out. Also, check out Twin's YouTube channel. I didn't put it. I did put Twin's YouTube channel in the description of this video as well. And he's live as well, so you can go click the like button on this video and have both videos playing in both tabs if you want. Mute one of them though. We got Brian Cope here, says hit the like and share and subscribe. We really appreciate it. But yeah, man, we're hyped up. You know, training camp has been going on, but today's the first day where the pads were rocking. And anything you want to add to the mix? Go ahead, Ryan. Go ahead. It's all you.
Well, I think the news about the quarterbacks today was good all around. I'm really giving Purdy slack. Like, I'm not expecting anything from him right now. I don't know why Allen's getting reps, but I don't think Sam should be competing. I think Sam should be getting his stuff figured out, learning the offense, and then we can worry about something later. What's your thought, Twins? I've heard people saying, well, Allen needs reps too. You never know what could happen. And my justification is, well, when quarterbacks start going down, Allen would start getting more reps. You know what I'm saying? As he gets closer to the time, he'll start getting more reps.
Hey, listen here, man. For my guy Allen, I don't know if he need an insurance rep, he need a Geico rep. Look, if he need a a home insurance rep, but one thing he don't need is a repetition throwing this football around. You know what I mean? We appreciate him coming in as a 49 to try to help out a little bit, but at this point in time, we need the guys who we know that's going to be playing to get some repetitions, man. This is a very, very hard sport. You guys seem like to be old school fellas like myself, where we used to the tour days. We used to these guys getting like some real repetitions, you know what I'm saying? And they went out here trying to share this situation, you know what I'm saying? And so, like, I think it's a disservice to the first and second quarterback, in my opinion. And if you want to add our guy Sam Darnold in there, I get it, but for the bulk of the majority, I'll say it should be more of like a 60-40, well, not 64, like a 60-35, and Sam, you can get the little change left over. But man, we playing against these guys like a Patrick Mahomes, or these guys like a Lamar Jackson, or we thinking about Aaron Rodgers. They're getting all the reps. They're creating precision. They're getting timing down. They're getting familiarity while we're sitting here going through this smorgasbord of different quarterbacks. And so I think it's very important to be intentional with our team this year and be really focused on trying to capture that number 6 trophy. And hey, Allen, I appreciate you. But again, like my guy said down below, Mr. Border Sports himself, we don't need all this extra reps going on. We need our big time players to get the reps.
And to hear from the guys who were at camp with their feet on the ground over at Santa Clara, we're talking about Jesse Naylor, Ryan Hensley, Ted from Ted Talks Ball. They were there, and all three of them are pretty much saying, like, we should not be giving Brandon Allen reps. Like, we're wasting our time. We're wasting our time giving this guy reps. And does it come to an end pretty soon? Who knows? I have no idea what Shanahan has in mind. I don't think Kyle himself doesn't even know what's going on, and to him, so he can't predict the next thing he's gonna do. Let me just say what's up to Crew Vibe. He's here. Welcome back to the channel. Says we will keep 3 quarterbacks and 1 on practice squad. Okay, well, so 3 on the roster. Okay, all right. He said we got Steve in the house. He says Sam area. I must be talking about Mr. Darnold. And yeah, what else you got going on, Ryan?
Not much. Just chilling.
Anything you want to say about Trey? I mean, as far as Trey, they said it was he 9 for 10 today or something like that. The only miss that he had was Jordan Mason, when Jordan Mason didn't turn his head, from what people were saying. So that's a good day, man. Hopefully he stacks it again.
That's another good day. Saying. He's got to stack it for it to count. You know what I mean? Like having, remember last training camp, Ty Davis Price had an awesome day, or Danny Gray had an awesome day, and then we didn't see him on the field at all, really. It's because they just had one awesome day. They weren't stacking them. So Trey's got to stack them, because he's not going to get the confidence of the offense if he doesn't stack these days, which to me, if you're doing it against this defense, at least first or second string, that counts. So to me, if he can stack days and do well against them, like, the offense normally doesn't do well against our defense. Can we admit that?
For sure.
So if he could do well against our defense, that's a good measuring point. You know what I mean? If Brock Purdy could do well against the defense, that's a good measuring point. So
I have a question for you. Are you a basketball guy by any chance, Mr. Border Sports?
I know the
So I
answer to this
live.
one.
Huh?
It's Go Sonics. We've been
Okay,
undefeated
that's
for
cool.
years now.
Shout out to Deadly Shrimp and
Dead left
and,
shrimp.
you know what I mean.
There you
Big ups
go.
to Percy. You know what I mean.
Big
Kendrick,
Smooth, Sam
yeah,
Perkins.
Sam Perkins.
Perkins out of North
Sean Kemp,
Carolina.
the Rain Man, and GP.
Yep.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But yeah, I'm
Jesus
quite familiar with
Shuttleworth.
little Vin Baker himself, but hey, so what I was trying to make this correlation of, be honest with you, is like in basketball, it's one thing to know when you're going to play and when you're not going to play. Like the first 7 minutes maybe before the starts, and then you understand you're going to have a 5-minute interval where this is what we're going to do. These are the plays we're going to run, and these are the group of guys that I'm going to run with. There's a sense of cohesion there. There's a sense of understanding what it is that I'm supposed to go out there and do. My thing for Trey Lance is repetitions, but also getting the same pictures over and over and over again. So I can go out there, I know what I'm going to do along with the players that I got coming along with me. And I think Trey will continue to excel once he get in that rhythm. Everybody, I don't know about you guys, but I'm kind of like a rhythm guy. If I know my schedule, if I know certain things, I can adapt quicker. But if you continuously pick me in and out of different spaces, it's going to take me a little longer to kind of get comfortable with what it is that I'm doing. And that's why I think repetitions are important, but also consistent repetition on what it is that we're doing.
So one thing I wanted to add to that is one thing I heard was Brandon, I think it was Brandon Ayuk, or no, it was Debo talking about Brandon Ayuk, saying how important the route running is here, because it has to be so precise, because you're not going to be in position to get the ball on the run if you're not running a very strict route.
Mm-hmm.
Or the timing of the route, and that you can bust your move, and then you know how much time you got to anyway until you need to be to the point. Well, Trey, he's throwing with all these wide receivers in the offseason. He's not throwing with 49ers wide receivers that know the timing of the route. So like right now, I think is really crucial to him to be able to kind of get that memory down of where it's at, the muscle memory of making that throw to that's, right behind the linebacker, right over his right shoulder. You know how they do that little crossing route right there, and the linebacker is like, "Oh shit," you know what I mean? Yeah, you got to get that one down with people who know that route, because just going out and just throwing routes with people, it's not going to get that muscle memory right. It has to be that same motion, same depth, same area, same everything, and then all of a sudden you can do it in your sleep, and that's what he's missing.
And Ryan, you got an interesting question from the chat from Camper Report. And to answer your question, Brian, it is a call-in show. And I do see some newer viewers popping up on. They're not necessarily on the chat; they're silent viewers. So there's new people in the chat. Hey, just check the link in the chat. Pop in the chat, say what's up, say your name, and then go ahead and click the link if you want to call in. It doesn't have to be a video call; it could be an audio call. Yeah. And with Camper Report had a question for you. He says, "No Border Sports. How do you remix your shorts on your channel without getting copyrights?" So he likes the way you put together your short video clips.
So you find videos that have a remix button, and then you can remix them, but you're only going to be able to use 5 seconds of that video. So I usually like to find them in shorts, because it's already short format, so it's easier to kind of clip a short blip out of, and then you can add your subtitles or your banners or whatever you want to call them, and you can add your filter and all that good stuff. You just got to look for the remix button.
Ryan giving out his tips on content creating, and don't check out his channel's No Border Sports. I know, right? And I want to bring this up though about a lot of people on Grant Cohen, a lot of other people bringing this up about Lance and the whole thing with his mechanics that they saw early on in OTAs and mini camps, and the videos that we saw of him working Jeff Christensen. A lot of people thought it'd be a fluke, like, well, when he's throwing in live reps, he's gonna go back to his old ways. He's gonna have the loopy, get off with his release or whatever you want to call it. And so far he's stuck to his guns and he's implemented all those new techniques where he's no longer powering everything with his arm. He's using his lower body strength to help power his arm or power the throws, that is, and not have to wear his arm out like he did before at one point in time. But at the end of the day, we still haven't seen, even though Trey gets along with Ayuk hella good, he gets along with Debo hella good. I mean, Trey did get the throw to kill today, which was cool, and he made it early on. He made a really, really nice throw to kill that everybody kept talking about. It was one of the better throws of the day. But he still hasn't been out there with CMC, and some people are like, "Oh, is CMC sitting out?" And then they still don't, they still don't put him out there with Ayuk when he's doing his reps with the team drills. They don't have him throwing to Ayuk, but Darnold gets to throw to Ayuk. So do you guys think that's kind of off or iffy, or any opinions on that?
I'll let you go first, Ryan.
Well, what was I gonna say? Because you kind of had two questions there. And there was a first part.
First was about the mechanics, how he's been consistent with keeping his mechanics.
So
yeah.
So I think if he injured his leg somehow, but was still playing, I think that might be a way for him to kind of fall out of sync and start muscling his arm again instead of using his whole body. I could see that happening. But I don't think he's going to get that far out of whack. I think he might need to have his timing adjusted a little bit, but I don't think he's going to revert back to, because it's kind of a dramatic change when you think about it. It's a dramatic change, especially when you're talking about something you're so proficient at doing over and over again. So he'll be able to feel when he's out of whack. He'll be like, well, this is way different because I've been doing it, even though it's new to me for the last couple of months. I've been doing it consistently for a couple of months now. It's my new thing. You know what I mean? Like it's your new swing. So I don't see that being an issue, really, for the most part. Like,
and do you want to say something about? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead. Well, he's saying, he's slinging these balls 30 yards, and it looks effortless to him. And the release is quick.
Yeah, his release looks a lot quicker too, by the way.
Yeah.
And he wasn't really known for necessarily having a consistent quick release before. And another thing that I found out today that I didn't know about, and surprisingly it came from a source where some people see this guy as a Lance hater, is Larry Krueger. He was on with Grant Cohn, and he brought up something that a lot of people don't know. I didn't know about it until maybe an hour before the show started, but he was talking about, remember that one practice where they said, hey, it was on Friday, right? Where, hey, Trey Lance is throwing passes into the dirt, and the short little Deacon doesn't give me passes, and he's woofing on them, and he's messing up, and he looks terrible. Trey Lance sucks. He's a bust. Blah 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 blah. Brandon Allen deserves more rep. The same old song and dance that we hear from the Lance haters. But long story short, there was a point in time where he was supposed to throw a pass to Debo, and it didn't go well for whatever reason. And Lance, this is straight from Larry Krueger. Lance said, Larry Krueger did say that reporters and the media, majority of the media left, and they didn't see this, but Lance stayed after practice to work on that same throw that he messed up. I mean, 9 times over, Lance had repeatedly worked on that passing play that he messed up on to make sure he got it right. And that's just a hard work and dedication that Lance has. That's why one of the reasons why they drafted him, other than his physical talents, is this guy has an amazing work ethic. And I think we're finally going to see that unfold and see it on the field, at least.
Yeah, for sure, man. That's like, and this is with any of those quarterbacks, you're going to make mistakes. And this is one thing I try to give grace to all of them, because I've seen the GOATs miss passes. I've seen people who have crowned, Pat Mahomes in that playoff game against the Bills, throw balls in the dirt, and miss passes. It happens, Nobody's going to be 85 to 90% completion rate. Like, these other guys that they're facing are great guys as well. They're football players. They like to compete just as much. But the thing is not to lose your confidence and to continue to build one brick at a time. I mean, stack bricks, or, one day at a time. Brick by brick, and stay where your feet, and stay where your feet are. And I think that's the thing we got to realize during practice, that these guys are going over plays. I remember playing football and basketball. Where you mess up is practice. You know what I mean? Where you work out the kinks is during practice. You start to get more familiar with where your players are going to be, and then also how your teammates look at things and how they read things as well. And that's why I think the reps are so important. It is for you to practice. It is for you to get more familiar with how my guy run routes, the pace, the speed, and then the way that he likes the ball thrown to him, so on and so forth. And so this is why repetition is so important in today's game, especially with all the freedom of space and area that football now is providing for the offensive team.
Very true. I totally agree with that. But let's talk about something else that we didn't cover yet, because I know we've been talking about quarterbacks. If anybody else calls it later, we can say more about the quarterbacks. No big deal. But I was hearing some good things about Drake Jackson. I don't know whoever wants to go first on this, but I think Drake Jackson so far is looking the part, I'd say. Now, I'd love to see it in real games, but so far, so good.
Drake.
Yeah, that'll
What you about to say?
be the test, though.
Yeah,
that'll be the test. Is in the games, and it's funny because I was listening to what Coach Chris Sarek said, that he might come, he might be there end of the second year or beginning of the third year. So he's flashing right now. So I don't know if there's something else that we're missing that Coach K sees, or if he's really spent the time away, not really away, and that has, really showed out. That's what my thoughts are right now. So I don't know what's going on, because it seems like with what Coach K said, he should be lagging behind a little bit more. And from what everybody's talking about, it seems like he's running around snatching bodies.
Hey. Get over here. My man's turned to Scorpion, huh? He over here snatching people's souls. You know what I mean? Hey, I'm going to steal this from the boy, Aubrey. Aubrey Graham says, Drake stands for do right and kill everything. And so I hope that Drake Jackson is doing that. He's doing right and killing everything, killing all the left tackles, the inside, the left guards. If you flip him over, he's killing the right tackle, and he going inside and killing the right guard. And that's what we like to see, him using his athleticism against some of these bigger, thicker guys and showing them that he can bend very well. I know that's what we talked about a lot coming out of college, out of USC. They was always saying, hey, man, he has a wonderful bend. He has this abnormal flexibility. I remember even Nick Bosa himself talking about there's certain things that guy can bend that even though I'm Nick Bosa, my body cannot physically do. And so my man's like Gumby out there. I know some of y'all young folk don't know who Gumby is, but my man got the Gumby ability. This is why I would love for
so stupid.
Stupid show, but
I love Gumby, man. Come on, man.
I fucking hated Gumby. Every time that shit. I got ADHD, so I'm watching that shit going like, get to the fucking point.
Me too. I got a little case of the ADHD too, so I definitely get what you're talking about. But this is why I would love to have Nick Bosa in camp, man, so he can continue to mature. I got Drake Jackson, when it comes to his pass rush and having multiple moves as well. So I'm glad he is showing. One thing I think you guys can attest to last year is that the guy had limited snaps, but one thing I saw was he had that JJ Watt ability when JJ was JJ SWAT. You see what I'm saying? And he had probably the most swats on the teams with with lesser snaps than a lot of the other guys. So it was always good to see that he had that type of ability as a rookie,
Samson Ebukam, I believe, almost had like 3 times the snaps, or maybe 2.5 snaps more than Drake Jackson did. So Drake Jackson barely had any snaps compared to a whole bunch of other players, and still batted down a whole bunch of balls. Let me bring in Eric Wallace here. You can stick around. Go ahead, Brian. Say what you want to say.
Oh, the batted balls, like I like that you got the batted balls. It's a good thing, but you shouldn't be in the batted ball zone. You know what I mean? You shouldn't. There should only be certain situations where you should be able to bat a ball. To me, as a defensive end, and either that or you're not where you're supposed to be. You're out of position. So that's been a concern to me. Because, look at Javon Kinlaw. Remember his first year? I think he had a couple swatted balls. And it's it's because he wasn't getting any penetration. So instead of getting penetration, he just kind of got in the quarterback's way and swatted balls, which is great. Which I'm okay with. I'm perfectly okay with if he's got a double team on him. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That to me I'm perfectly fine. If you got two men in your chest and you're batting down balls, brother, every down, I want you, because that means I got three other guys at least getting free or a chance to get free on solo 1-on-1s to get at the quarterback, making him make bad decisions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for.
And the thing that caught me about Drake Jackson, what I heard today was from Brad Graham from the SF Niners. He said Drake Jackson might really be on the brink of a breakout season. In one-on-ones, Jackson set up an outside speed pass rush, and then he got to the depth of the quarterback, and he hit a nasty inside counter spin. His athleticism looks off the charts so far in training camp. So hopefully that translates to real games. So I'm going to be really excited to see what he can do. You want to stick around, Ryan? Because I'm going to bring Eric in right now and see what Eric's got going on.
One-on-ones with offensive linemen and defensive linemen aren't always real world-ish. Now with a defensive end going outside on a tackle, especially to their side, that could be more realistic. But once you cut inside, it's not that realistic because there's not like a guard there for you to kind of push them into. You know what I'm saying? So those one-on-one reps, sometimes it's not something to totally judge somebody by.
That's true. That's true. We got Eric Wallace, I believe, is here. So what's up, Eric? How you doing?
How you doing, guys?
Doing good, man. Great to have you on. What do you want to say?
What's cracking, Eric?
Wait, what was that question?
Oh, anything you want to talk about in particular? Welcome to the show.
Oh, not much. I'm just excited for football season.
So are we. We're all excited. What are you excited about the most?
Well, gonna be some exciting games. I believe that the two games between the Seahawks and the Niners are gonna be great games.
Yeah. And you're a Seahawks fan, isn't that right?
Yes, sir.
He's the number one Seahawks fan.
So who's going to win those games?
Of 49ers content creators.
I noticed he's always watching the 49ers stuff. YouTube.
Wait, what?
I'm just saying, who do you think is going to win those two games?
Well, I think probably Seattle is going to win it inside Seattle, and probably you guys in Santa Clara.
Okay. Let me ask you this: if it were up to you, which quarterback do you fear the most? If you're watching if you knew the 49ers were playing Seattle that week, and it was up to you to think like, oh wow, I don't want to play this quarterback. I don't want the 49ers to have this quarterback taking snaps right under the center, because that would really freak me out if we play them on Sunday. Which quarterback would that be? Not Brandon. Why Tittle?
Honestly, the one of all the guys that are in San Francisco right now, I gotta say the guy that already proved that he can beat Seattle in Seattle, and that's Brock Purdy. He's the one guy, because Brock's already proved that he can do it.
Yeah. Brock looked really good against Seattle when we played you guys. So it's very hard. It's very rare the 49ers do beat Seattle in Seattle. Anything else you want to mention on the show?
Not much.
So, how long have you been watching football? I was just curious.
Pretty much my entire life.
Okay. Wow. I wish I could say the same. I took
hey,
a little
Eric,
while.
have you been following the Seahawks training camp?
Not really.
Gotcha.
But I know it's happening.
At least he's honest.
Gotcha. I was going to ask him if there was any standouts or any, things he's excited about. I know Sam Dog Infamous met Jason Smith Enigma. I probably said that wrong.
Oh, the new wide receiver that the Seahawks drafted?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I always have a hard time saying that guy's name.
I'm sorry, sir. Don't mean to do your name Do you name dirty like that?
Some NFL names aren't easy to say. I would notice that during draft day and during the mock draft shows, difficult names. All right, but Eric, hey, we appreciate you calling the Niners show because you're not even a Niner fan, but great to have you, man. We appreciate you. All right.
Make sure to go subscribe to Twin Empire, Eric.
Yeah, check out Twin
Eric.
Empire. His YouTube channel's in the description video.
I appreciate it, Eric. Thank you
Description
very
box of
much.
the video. Check it out.
He's usually always good for that. He helps the homies out. He knows what a subscription means.
There you go. And we're gonna bring on more callers. And Ryan, you're free to stick around if you want. We're gonna try to bring on more people too, though. And there's some other stuff I wanted to talk about that we didn't necessarily cover just yet. I got to go with Drake Jackson. Again, he's on the D line, but we're hearing another guy who's on the D line, Javon Kinlaw, was doing some work in practice today, and a lot of people are like, whoa, really? He looked the best out of all the D linemen. I think even better than Hargrave today. So that's interesting. I wasn't expecting it. Where do you guys feel about that, Javon Kinlaw, this upcoming season?
I mean, for me, honestly, now I'm a very optimistic individual, so I'm hoping for the best. Not only for that, but for him as well. I think a lot of times it's 2023, but we forget that he got drafted in 2020, and we all know how it was. You know what I'm saying? That was a time for a lot of people, and certain people handle that situation a lot differently than others. I knew he was a guy from South Carolina, a Southern dude, moving to the big city, moving to the West Coast. And a lot of people forget that the 49ers we end up moving as well. We couldn't even stay in Santa Clara for a while. We actually had to play games in Arizona. And I don't know about you guys, but when you first left from home or like left out of college and began to live your life, things happen, man. And not only that, his injury was something. You're a big man. You 6'5", 300-something pounds, man. You got knee issues and you don't get the proper care that you need. And usually you come into the facility in April, June, you're getting your regimen down, you're getting your eating down. You have some real professionals looking at your body, trying to make sure you get fine-tuned. All those things didn't necessarily happen for a big guy like that. And in the previous year, he ended up getting hurt at the end of the year, kneecap, so on and so forth. And so I'm just going to say that I'm glad that he's healthy, first and foremost, and I pray that he continues to stay healthy. But if he does, let's not forget what we thought his potential could be. Now, if it's, say, from scale 1 to 10, if he only can give us like a 7, that's fine, because we're not asking him to go in here and get the bulk of the carry. I mean, the bulk of the snaps. We just ask him to come in there and spell out Hargrave, spell out Armstead, and if you can do that and play at a 7, that's good for us. So I'm glad that he's playing well. I hope he continues to build his confidence, and I hope with the surrounding players like a Bosa, like a Hargrave, and like a Drake Jackson getting a little bit better, that it was increase his confidence to go out there and dominate.
And with Kinlaw, I don't know what weight he's operating at right now, and a lot of people were speculating that he may have lost a whole lot more weight to put less load on his knees, and I get that, but it's you kind of think that, well, Kinlaw, a lot of his game was just being the biggest, bulkiest D lineman out there, not being pushed around because he was so damn big and bulky. Like, would that affect his game? So I don't know. Maybe he's able to adjust to this new playing weight, perhaps, and maybe he's gotten stronger regardless. So it's interesting. Anything you got going on, Ryan, with that?
Well, as far as how his weight sits, he's so tall and he's built. It's not like he's sitting with a big, huge gut right between his legs when he, bends at the knees. You kind of give him a better rock. Well, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. I don't know if you ever know about driving a forklift, but there's a triangle that you make with the weight. So Kinlaw his weight spread out more evenly, so you get anybody shorter than him to get some leverage on them, they can apply it essentially evenly across his whole mass, instead of having less weight up top and all the weight down below as like a blob or a rock. You know what I mean? It's hard to push over.
For sure.
So
that's centrifugal force, as they would say.
Yeah. and I'm glad he's doing healthy. I'm glad he's doing good and that he's healthy. I'm over it. Kind of when everybody said he did good today, all I heard was that he looked good in one-on-ones, which he's a D tackle, which means he's going against guards and centers, which also means it's a one-on-one drill, and that fight is not always going to be one-on-one. Even if they might, that offensive player might get help with an arm or, like a push off or something like that. And to me, it's not the same scenario, even though he was looking good. And he only looked, from what I heard, he only looked good against the non first stringers.
Mm-hmm.
And then he got shut down by the first stringers. I don't know what it looked like in 11
I didn't hear
11s.
that too. I heard that part.
Yeah, I don't know what happened on 11 on 11. So that would be the biggest indication for me, is what happened on 11 on 11s. I don't care about one-on-ones when it comes to interior linemen, or like even I said with defensive ends, if they cut inside of what the tackle's normal, kickback is, it's just not the same scenario. They have more space to do more stuff that. Yeah.
Got a question. So I heard that there was a Trey got sacked today. I heard Purdy got maybe like possibly 3 sacks. Somebody said possibly 3 to 5. Do you guys know who it was that was bringing on that pressure? Do we know it was coming from the inside? Was it mainly the edge guys coming in there and bringing the pressure? Did anyone you guys hear about that? Like, who was the
I
main
know there was a
culprits?
blitz. There was a
Okay.
Purdy sack where there was a blitz. I
believe
knew that.
Cleveland Farrell, I don't know if you guys heard about this, but Cleveland Farrell hit Brock Purdy's arm that he just got surgery on as his arm was back. You see what I'm saying? So I know that the defensive end got some pressure. I don't know if it was from the defensive end position, because sometimes they like to stunt. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't. I wish Ted was here. Oh well. Yeah, it was Cleveland Farrell, which I was saying Cleveland Farrell was going to be our Charles Omenihu, but with how Drake Jackson's sounding and that happening, I'm sorry. Kyle is going to hate you. Kyle is like, you know what I'm saying? Screaming into a box right now. What's the one fucking rule? He doesn't get it. There's one fucking rule. You know what I mean? Like, he's like, and of course it's Brock. Of course it's Brock. You know what I'm saying? I can totally see this happening.
I mean, it's on par for 49ers, though. Like you say, don't hit the man who throw the ball. We know this rule since Little League. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't do it. Leave him alone. But it could be a good confident booster, because I heard that. Well, never mind. It was the last play. It was the last play, I believe, of the what's the name of that period? They say the
move the ball.
Move the ball period. They say it was the last play. I believe someone said it was 4th down in inches, and I guess as he said, drop back, whatever. Didn't necessarily, he didn't throw the ball, whatnot, and he was a script sack, like you said. So. You usually want to see that early on in practice. You may have got hidden so he can continue to throw the ball. But now, if that was the last throw of the day, Kyle sending home the trainer with him like, hey, man, if you get any discomfort, you better tell that trainer immediately. You know what I'm saying?
Kyle shouldn't have let it end like that. Kyle should have chewed out Cleveland Farrell and been like, okay, let's run another play. And then pass it. Make him fucking and get back on the horse. You know what I mean? Instead of, I'm not trying to have him go, I don't know. At first, I guess I would find out if it's okay, obviously. But first find out if it's okay, then chew Cleveland's ass. I'm sorry, I would.
Yeah, there was some good news about the offensive line today. I'm not sure if you guys caught on to that. Particularly Colts McKivitz. I know you said you don't like one-on-ones or whatever. You don't think it tells a true story, and it doesn't necessarily because the offensive linemen get help from time. Yeah, they get help from time to time. But McKivitz, they said, was looking exceptionally well in his one-on-one drills today, and I'm not sure about the rest of the 11-on-11s, but in general, a lot of people like what they saw from him overall.
It's harder for the offensive linemen to look better in one-on-one drills. It's good to have them. It's great to have them because what you get out of it is they see different people, but everybody's trying to do their best move because it's one-on-ones. They want to, it's man against man. Doesn't matter who it is. Each man wants to win, and they're going to be, because it's just mano a mano. So I think it's a good position to put people in. It's just not a good way to grade people for the most part, because like if an offensive lineman does good, it's not necessarily meaning he's good. It just means he defeated whatever move that the defensive guy tried to make at that point in time. So, but consistency is a big indicator too.
Definitely. We got Kenny in the house. He's a Pacific Northwest viewer, big time 49er fan. Grew up in the Stockton 209 area. Great to have you here. I don't know. I guess it's a Steve-O Supremo. Was the other screen name, I guess? I don't know. He's got a lot of screen names, but there you go. It's another, unless it's a whole different Steve-O altogether.
I think that's a whole nother Steve-O actually.
Oh, okay. Wasn't the guy on was it Jackass? That Jackass show, wasn't his name Steve-O too?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. Maybe it's the real Steve-O.
I watched a lot of that growing up.
The movie was pretty good too, actually. I liked it.
I used to have the shirt of Johnny Knoxville with the probes in him from the taser, holding the taser.
Okay.
Oh, I love that.
Well, the real Steve-O, please stand up. Says that's not me. Okay, cool.
Yep.
There you go.
I think I've actually spoke to this Steve-O before, thinking it was Steve-O.
And Kenny's mentioning Steve Wilkes. Say players are talking good stuff about Steve Wilkes. In general, there's a lot of good videos of Steve Wilkes as coaching up the people, getting the secondary primed and ready, and hear a lot of good things about the secondary too. If you guys want to touch on the safeties and the corners, and it's really cool to finally have a secondary guru as our defensive coordinator. Yeah. We talked about Deshaun Goldson earlier as a hire, which was really nice. And I mean, it's like Steve Wilkes potentially could be our best defensive coordinator that we had in quite some time, actually.
I have a feeling he is going to be, because he also he's very good with the secondary. That's his bread and butter, right? So what happens? He likes to blitz a lot. Well, what happens when you blitz? You're taking away from your secondary and you're applying it to the line, right? So to me, we're going to get more blitzes, but I feel it's going to be just as secure as if we didn't blitz. You know what I mean? Like, he's going to have things planned out. He's going to know what people can do. I can't wait to see a couple nasty nickel blitzes. I love me a nickel blitz. I'm sorry. I love I almost might swap Hufanga and whoever's at nickel, and let Hufanga be the nickel during the nickel blitz, because he's got that timing.
Yeah, we got so many options for blitzing right now. It's nuts.
Yeah, and the nickel, the true nickel, will get a little more space to survey what everybody's move is. I don't know, just thoughts. But I think it's going to be nasty this year, and not just that. If we got a whole bunch of young guys, right? So if we only get Steve for 2 years, it's going to be 2 years of learning from Steve and handling everything like that. And then we can have them for another 10 years if we want. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So what do you think, Twin Empire, about the secondary and with Steve Wilkes in the mix and new players that we've added?
So if you go back and look at the Carolina Panthers, they've drafted in the secondary, high drafts in the secondary over the last like 4 to 5 years. And so when you have they drafted, I forget what's the guy named Seahorn, or
Oh yeah.
No,
Jason Sehorn,
not
New York
Jason.
Giants.
No, he's what's the guy?
I know
Horn,
who you're talking about.
Jeff Horn or something
Yeah.
like that. He's the cornerback, real fast guy. He ended up hurting his leg his rookie year, but he was a highly talented cornerback. He got chin, and he did some numbers with those guys in the backfield. And so I'm excited to have a teacher though. What's cracking, my guy, Crazy Juice? I love teachers on the field. I love guys who, in between plays, will go out there and teach on the spot. I know there's some coaches who are teachers in the classroom, but we got to realize that people are different. Far as some people need to learn hands-on, right on the spot. You know what I mean? And then you can go to the classroom. And so I like it that he does both. I like it that he goes over there and say, "Hey, man, come here, let me holler at you," or he goes in there and instill confidence. One thing I love hearing from the defensive head coach last year, D'Amico Ryans, when he was saying, "I don't want to be a vampire and suck out the energy in the room. I want to be somebody to give you life. I want to be somebody to give you energy and enthusiasm." And so you want to play with your head on fire, and you don't want to always play like, looking behind you thinking your coach is going to do something, pull you out. And I think the defensive line play like that. We know the linebackers play like that because they had a linebacker coach. So I'm assuming that's why they were the dynamic duo that they were. But like my man Border Sports just said, if we can get the secondary to play like that as well, heads on fire. Majority of our interceptions came from our safeties last year. Not that many coming from our corners. And so I would love it if our cornerbacks get just as sticky with their hands and man to man and allow those blitzes to come in there and they can really attack the ball. So I'm looking forward to see his experience be implemented to our defense and what type of schemes we will come up with this year and to turn some people over.
Yeah, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. And one guy who I'm really interested in to watch this year is Samuel Womack, because I love what he did in the preseason last year, and he looked good early in the beginning of last year, and then all of a sudden they took him out and they threw in Diamond Lenore as a nickel. That was before what's his name got hurt, Mosley, that is, because then they obviously moved Lenore on the outside. But so oh my gosh, the stupid. Freaking Steve-O, man. This guy's nuts, man. That's Steve-O. He plays the role over a million in the chat and says wacky stuff. I don't know what he's saying. He's so stupid, man. Let me just take him out. This guy's a joke. Yeah, so just a second. Let me handle this. Get him out of here. And yeah, so what was I even talking about? Why did I forget? I totally forgot now. This guy's messing things up. What was I gonna say? Do you remember? What topic were we on?
The defense.
Yes.
Okay. So, about Womack.
Yep.
Yeah.
No. So Womack in general has bounced back, from obviously getting benched, but he had a great camp last year, and he's having a good camp this year. When he got taken out of games last year, it was primarily because he wasn't giving good run support, and we all know how that is. The 49ers take pride in their run defense, so hopefully he's fixed all that, because in some way or another, I'd love to see him on the field. Womack, I think, is an exceptional talent. The only thing in my eyes that he really lacks, obviously, is height, but he doesn't necessarily lack for size. He's a pretty strong player. He's just not tall. That's all.
Isn't it funny how both sides of our team, like the first requirement, has to do with rushing?
Go B.
You mean on both requirements of the ball? In terms of the offense, how we always run the ball, and then
you have to run block on offense. Like if you want to be a wide receiver, you have to run block. You know what I mean? If you're going to be a tight end, you have to run block. If you're going to be the nickel, if you're going to be a cornerback, you have to block. You have to stop the run. You got to stuff the run. If you're a safety, you have to stuff the run. It doesn't matter what position. You know what I mean? Everybody on that line. Like Twin, this is my hypothesis on why we kept Eric Armstead over DeForest Buckner. It's because we play in a 4-3 defense that is more susceptible to a run than a 3-4 defense is normally. And we also play in a wide 9 version of that, which is even more susceptible to the run game because the gaps are even bigger.
Mm-hmm.
So Eric Armstead is that guy who can kind of close those gaps up because of his play and his length. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
his brain. And I think that's why we went with Eric Armstead over Defoe, because it was so imperative for our whole scheme, which is stopping the run. And we can't pass rush like we want to pass rush if we don't stop the run, because they're just going to keep passing on you. So you have to stop the run. Or sorry, they're going to keep running on you if you don't stop the run. And you want to run it, and you want to get after them in the pass game. So you have to shut everything down, and then you get to feast.
Well, I think Defoe wasn't he was a good, he stopped the run pretty well too, in my opinion. I think he's a better pass rusher than
I will give you that
Armstead.
100%. Better pass rusher, hands
But
down.
I didn't like Defoe in the Super Bowl. I'll be honest with you guys, man. Defoe was getting pushed back in the run game, especially in the fourth quarter in that Super Bowl, and that was pissing me off.
I feel you. But I can say the same. I mean, I know we about to pay him a lot of money, but if somebody disappeared this playoff too, who about to get this bag?
Bosa.
You know what I'm saying?
No,
you can't, it was like
he
how all
was
of a
getting
sudden
pressures.
When you look
I
at
noticed he
like
struggles against Dallas, man. Dallas has the biggest, baddest,
listen.
strongest, most gigantic offensive linemen, and those guys make Bosa look so tiny. And some of them manhandle him when the last two times we played him, man. It's not pretty.
In my opinion, like the higher the competition go, the better they're going to get. And I don't need you out here fading away. And then people say, well, it's because he's getting he's getting more looks. I'm like, dude, he's getting looks throughout the regular season too. Then he's able to make plays. So, I mean, we're going to have to continue to keep that same energy. But going back to what we were talking about, if we didn't necessarily get a consistent pass rush, especially with D4 never playing with us again, where were we going to get this pressure from if we just relying on one person, that's consistent? And that's only been Nick Bosa. So I thought it would have been good to kind of have, possibly D4 there, but hey, he's out of here. I really do think we need somebody to consistently average around 7.5 sacks on that D line somewhere. And we just haven't been getting it. So hopefully this year with Hargrave and somebody like Armstead playing together, the edge guy can get like 8 to 9 sacks over there. Or we will see our defensive coordinator use the blitz passages. And like my guy just said, we'll see Hufanga, or we will see Oliver, or hopefully we may see a Dre Greenlaw get in there, send a linebacker blitz in there, because I'm a big fan of that too. I don't necessarily see our linebackers getting any blitz calls for themselves, but I would love it, you know what I mean, if we're very sticky and we can get some of those big guys to get their hands up. So, hey, let's see what we're going to come up with this year to kind of surprise some teams with our pressures.
And I feel with us blitzing more, it'll make when we fake blitz, when we try and show that pressure, which we're just not going to have, it'll be more effective, because they'll have to respect it because you've done it the last 3 times. You know what I mean? And I just think that might help our defense, because I noticed like last year we would be in a lot of these defenses where we plugged the A gap and looked like we're going to bring pressure, but most of the time we didn't bring pressure. We dropped back. And I don't know if it was as potent. Like why even do it? To me, if it's not going to get a reaction, call something else. Call the actual blitz. But yeah, that was just a thought I had about how it could help too.
And just to piggyback off this real fast, this is why, just like on defense, I think the same could be said on offense. I know we've seen these quarterbacks throw a couple of deep balls as well during this offseason. And so I'm glad that we've been trying to test our throwing ability down the field, because we definitely need to have the safeties at times on the offense scoot back some, you know what I mean? I believe they'd be too close to the LOS with the 49ers, and I'm just happy to see that these guys can eventually, throw some deep balls and soften up the defense and become more more like I guess using some of the 7 routes, the 8 routes, and the 9 routes that we never really call. Like we got people who run those clear out routes, but it's not that often that we go out there and target those guys. And so it would be good to see those guys get targets so that we'll open up even more running lanes for our running backs as well and our tight end.
And Debo's saying Ayuk is uncoverable and he's unstoppable as TC. Still want to see some more Debo right now in TC, at least in the games, because they keep saying he got amazing shape and he looks primed and ready for a big year this year. We are going to be wrapping up pretty soon, though. We did do some call-ins. If anybody's going to call in last minute, you better do it now. Otherwise, we'll just end the show right now. But in the meantime, I just want to since Ryan was our first one of our call-ins, of just Ryan. Oh, okay, we got Brian Cope calling. So okay, so Ryan, let me let you go really quick. Let everybody know what you're all about with your channel, and bring Brian Cope on. All right?
Yeah. Friday nights I got a show. Make sure to tune in. It's kind of a long one, and make sure to subscribe to Twin Empire and my man Brian Cope. Thank you for having me on,
Ryan, for coming on. Take care, man.
Sure,
yeah, anytime, man.
You, my guy.
Yeah. Good meeting
Definitely
you too,
check out No Border Sports. We got Brian Cope here. He is here. Is this Jake Moody's biggest fan, or I don't know? Let everybody know what your channel's all about, man. Who you are.
Well, my name's Bryant Culp, and I'm a 49er fan. I just love the team. I have a lot of passion for them. Been a 49er fan since I was born, and I say it like that, and I'm proud because I got baby pictures on the wall of me in, Niner clothes, right? And one day I finally asked my dad, I'm like, watch football, and I was like, you're a Niner fan, right? Like I'm thinking, this is a dumb question. Why am I asking my dad this? He looks at me and says, no, I'm a Raider fan. And I'm like, you're a Raider fan? Like, who's the Raiders? And of course, I'm like 7, 8 years old at this time. So I don't know every team in the league and stuff. My dad doesn't wear sport teams and jerseys or anything like that. He's a blue collar guy. Mm-hmm. And, I'm like, who's the Raiders? And then they moved back to Oakland. I'm from Stockton, so they moved back to Oakland, and then he takes us to a preseason game. And, from there on out, it was just like, wow, so I started like, I'm a big Niner fan, but I root for, I always root for the Raiders. I got to be honest, because my dad, my brothers are all Raider fans. So I'm always listening, how they're doing. And it's really, to me, it tickles me that they have Jimmy G, because I've been in Niner Facebook groups and Raider groups, and, we bash each other back and forth. And for a long time, when we had Brian Hoyer, the Destroyer, they were like, oh, you have no quarterback. Because they had Carr, right? Well, I was like, Carr breaks down all the time. Everybody, kind of knew that. So now, with us, we went to the Super Bowl, and even then we went to the Super Bowl, a lot of Raider fans rag on us. They're like, you guys didn't get it done. I'm thinking, well, you guys don't get it done against Kansas City like how many times a year, and he's in your division, it's like we got to the biggest stage, and, we came very close. So now they got Jimmy G, and I'm very interested to see how he does over there because, if Kyle is so like locked down on his players that we think and we kind of feel he is, if Jimmy can go somewhere else and play like, I don't know, backyard football or in a better system that fits him, yeah, I'd like to see him, win. But no, I'm a Niner fan. My channel is about 49ers. We do it on like Saturday mornings, Sunday mornings. Every once in a while, I have a guest on in the week with like my buddy David McNiner. We like to talk just like you guys, bring people in to interview and just sit back and kind of, have a cool conversation where we can get to know each other a little bit better and then get our opinions on some, hot topics of the evening or whatever, or what's going on with our team. So to answer your question, am I the biggest Jake Moody fan? Well, yeah. No, maybe so. I did start thinking about us, and I really like Robbie Gould. And when there were speculations of him not coming back, I was like, okay, well, who might we draft, right? So then I started like reading up on stuff, and I found Jake Moody, but then now they were predicting him. So I'm like, well, if he's the number one kicker, why? And I started looking at him a little bit harder. And then Ryan, No Border Sports, who was just on, we do a lot of stuff together, and we had a draft show a couple weeks ago, like when the draft was going on, and the Friday night show when he got drafted, I'm doing my best Mel Kiper. I got my hair, done and everything. And we're having a lot of fun. And I got my tie on and everything. And Joe Stevens from Seattle Seahawks Talk. And we had another guy, Ravens Darwin, and his name's Levi. And so we had 4 different guys, and we were all doing our own impressions. And Oh, and Jason Hurley from 49ers Cap. If you guys don't know about him, go check him out. He has a really good website, and he breaks down all the 49er numbers, the contracts, and everything. He's also on Twitter, and he's a really good guy. Knows his numbers, and yeah, so he was on the show, and we were all watching the draft, and then here they do. They right before the draft picks, I say it, Jake Moody. And I also said DTR because I thought, this is funny about DTR. They say, if you have two quarterbacks, you have none, right? So
For
I
sure.
thought, what's the missing key? Let's go get a quarterback with two last names. So DTR, right? And I was like, he could be the missing key, just being funny, but no, he comes. He didn't get to our team, but I did. I said Jake Moody, and then they revealed it was Jake Moody, and I go check out the draft reaction. I pull my tie off. I got a little crazy, and I told everybody I'm getting his jersey, right? So my wife, she was in the chat. She's like, hold on to that just now. You calm down with the jersey. Well, yeah, I got the jersey for Father's Day. So yeah,
That's
really
what's up.
So Brian, is there anything about camp, any news about any player having success or not doing too well? Anything about camp that has surprised you so far?
I'm not surprised because I'm always curious and interested to hear anything that really comes out. I'm always rooting for the players. I don't want to, root against anybody. And at the end of the day, I can't really call the trigger and say, oh, this guy needs to get cut or not, because I don't see everything. Even if I was at camp, we know they have secret practices or whatnot. So the one thing I am happy to hear about is Kinlaw seems to be skinnier, they said, and in better shape. That's what I thought I heard. So that would be really good because he's a really, really massive guy, and we've had a lot of time with him. I'd like to see that pay off for him. And then I believe TDP, he was playing better the first couple of days, so that's good because I thought he might be a cut. I'm hearing JP Mason, he's supposed to have some fumbling issues, so that's not really fun to hear. I am glad to hear that Brock got his arm hit and was still able to stand there and recover and do well, so that's good. And then, I'm not really taking too much into like how many reps the quarterbacks are getting or their completions, because everybody, it's like a 50-50 thing. The quarterback has to throw the ball, the receiver or running back has to catch or, not fumble, whatnot. So if somebody's getting 2 out of 5 throws and they're making 2 of the passes, but the other 3 were contested or whatnot, that's what's going to happen in real games. This is practice.
Yeah. For anybody to jump on somebody else's Twitter page and tag their name, say, the quarterback that you like did shitty today because he threw these incomplete passes that were behind the receivers or whatever. At the end of the day, look, no quarterback's gonna be perfect all throughout training camp. They're gonna have a few days where they make some stupid mistakes and look dumb. And that's regardless of who the quarterback is. But at the end of the day, it's training camp's all about getting your mistakes out. Sometimes they have these guys working on new things too. It's not like they're just running something that they're familiar with all the time. So there's that factor as well. And they're just trying to get their timing down. That's all. And hopefully by week 1, all these guys will be ready and they won't be making those mistakes and we'll be winning games. And again, I'm saying that regardless of who the quarterback is. People look way too into training camp quarterback stats as if it's a Super Bowl on some days. And I'm happy to see quarterbacks progress. Obviously, of course, I'll take that into consideration. But when you see little mistakes, like don't sit there and act like it's the end of the world. Were you gonna say something?
Yeah. No, I was just gonna say mainly. Yeah, I know this is this will continue to happen until we have a quarterback, though. Like there's no way we'll get around this. As much as we might not like it, this is on the 49ers, honestly, because most teams aren't going to have this back and forth because they know who their quarterback, especially if you're a top 5 team like we are. With the type of talent that we have in our roster, I would be hard pressed if somebody can come to me and find me that a team that had this type of talent over the last 5 years have done this type of situation with the quarterback over the last 5 years. This is unprecedented. And again, we're talking about the most seen position in football. This position, again, the gold standard. We got the Joe Montana and Steve Young in the world. And like I said, I wish this wasn't what it is. But partially, to me, this is on Kyle and John to have this circus, man, because nobody's going to tell me that these guys are real people. Like, come on. I know we look at them from afar and like, oh my God, these are, athletes, but they got mamas and daddies and cousins who text them, who they talk to. And they might not be on social media as far as the players, but their peoples are. You see what I'm saying? and they're hearing these people coming back and forth, and sometimes they may lean one way compared to another way, you know. And so that's the thing that I think at times Kyle and John say, well, we got 3 guys and everybody look like they can play. Kyle, John, if that was the case, every team in the National Football would have 3 guys
Yeah,
that look like they can
exactly.
play. But guess what?
At the talent was that deep in the league.
It ain't. And I'm gonna say this to anybody maybe watching. They like to bring up the Joe Montana and Steve Young comp. Can we put some respect on Joe Montana's name? Because last time I checked, he was
Hallelujah,
a
please.
2-time Super Bowl champion before Steve Young got there. So let's not make it sit here as if, you know, he was a guy who's trying to make his name in the league. The catch had happened. You know what I'm saying? And so I just want people to know that when they come to comparing these two, that guy had a history. He was 2-0. You see what I'm saying? So put some respect on his name and let's quit comparing what Joe Montana, who had already established himself, and also Bill Wash had already established himself too as a quarterback guru and also a, you know what I'm saying, a mastermind and a Super Bowl champion. And not Kyle. Like, again, this is no, I'm not throwing shots at Kyle Shanahan, but I'm just letting people know like there's a difference, you know what I mean? So let these guys continue to practice and get repetitions and get better, man. And yeah, I digress.
There you go. What's
Well,
up, Brian?
I think that's a lot of good points there, and it's practice. We can't take too much stock into it because these guys are practicing to get better, and they are practicing for game like situations. So sometimes, maybe they didn't get the first down, so it is 4th down or actually 5th down, and now they're going to, practice the kick, or whatever, or, like they're setting up for game time situations, and they're ramping up. And sometimes you do need to see what all players have, because I don't think anybody was really expecting us to have as many quarterbacks as we did last year. And I kind of said this already. It's really cool. Me and my wife, we both have a YouTube channel. We like the 49ers. It's one of those things we've always kind of, been really close to, because I've known her since she was like 12. So anyways, we both are Niner fans, like really, really passionate fans. And we were doing some research on the quarterbacks, trying to find out more and more about it. And I got up to 2012, and from 1946 to, 2012, we've had 42 years where we've had multiple quarterbacks. 42 years of multiple quarterbacks. We've only had 24 seasons in 66 years. I know we're in 2022, 2023 now. It's like 77 years now of football history. So I got to do like 10 more years. That's not a big deal. But my point is it seems like almost our average, we're like 2 out of 3 times we need more than 1 quarterback. So I see us definitely keeping 3 quarterbacks. I think we need 4 quarterbacks. I think these guys need to be ready, because we don't know. The first game, whoever's playing the first game could get hurt. It's just, that's football. That's why we watch the game, not for people to get hurt, but that's why you play it, because, you go out there, you try hard, you compete. Maybe you're not the fastest or whatever, and somebody goes down. Well, you step up and then you have your shot. So, I mean, we all want our shot. And that's what I'm thinking. I'm excited.
Crazy Juice, really quick. He's got a comment. He says, yeah, some people in our fan base got to stop comparing our current quarterbacks to legends. Yeah. Until those guys start hoisting Lombardis, and then they can get in the conversation.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, we haven't won anything.
Exactly. Yeah. Anything else you want to touch on? Because we're going to wrap up about 2 or 3 minutes or so. If you have any other topics you want to cover from camp, or any concerns or anything like that.
I appreciate you having me come on. The camp thing is really fun. I keep listening to the kicker battle. I think Mitch Wisnowski's back. He had pulled his back lifting some weights, and I think he's back now. I think he's holding the football. So, that's good to see. I don't know if he started punting. Again, the defense is going to get stronger. I think if we have a really successful year, look out, Wilkes, our new defensive coach. He could be gone. I do like him being in the box. But again, thanks for having me on. It was a call-in show. I was like, I better call in. I said last time. So
all right, cool, man. Awesome.
All right, buddy.
Let everybody know about your channel.
For sure.
When you come on.
It's really easy. It's Bryant Culp. And again, you guys pop in and have a lot of fun. We do different things. And we have a cool panel, but we also mix it up. And again, we do cool things. We do breakdown of the seasons, the stadiums. We've done breakdowns of the uniforms, cheerleaders, mascots, all kinds of stuff. So we have fun. So come check us out.
Man. Take
Thanks,
care, bro.
Later,
All right,
Twin.
man.
Salute, my guy. Take it easy.
Yeah, man. So had a lot of fun on here. Appreciate everybody in the chat.
Oh.
Twin, just let them know what you're all about, what you got going on. If you want to talk about Twitter, talk about YouTube, go ahead, let them have it.
What's cracking again, man? Y'all make sure check out my YouTube page, Twin Empire _, man. Make sure you hit that button, subscribe to the channel, like, and also make sure you guys follow me on YouTube. I mean, not YouTube, but on Twitter, Twin Empire X2. You know, follow me. I try to, you know, post every day or whatnot, and try to go on there and try to get more frequent on my YouTube channel as well. So, yeah, man, I love. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. Y'all make sure y'all like, sub to my boy's channel as well. Let's continue to grow all of our channels, but most importantly, let's continue to support our team. And it's fine to be objective and to, you know, not even say criticize, but critique our team, because we know at the end of the day, man, we just want to get some W's and get a ring. You know what I'm saying? I want that down there below, right?
We got them on the right hand. We got to get one for the left hand.
Yeah, I need that one right there to be taken care of, man. Go
Yeah,
ahead and add another one to it.
I'm due for an upgrade.
For sure. But yeah, man, that's all I got to say for the night, man. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Oh yeah, also before we go, if my kids are up one day, y'all want to come through and watch this, happy birthday to both of y'all. Y'all made me a daddy 9 years ago, so I love you guys.
Oh, happy birthday to your twins.
Great.
There you go.
Yeah, you know,
that's
continue
awesome.
to be
That's
great,
awesome,
man. Continue to grow and be as special as you are, man. Love you guys.
Great, that's awesome. Happy birthday to twins. That's why it makes him the twin maker.
Yes, sir.
Twins. So again, yeah, twins, it's been awesome to have you on. You've been on before. You're more than welcome to come on again in the future. And I remember not too long ago you asked me, hey, when am I coming on your show again? I was like, I know, I'll be honest, I haven't really been doing anything outside of my normal collabs. I got the show going on with Ted. We're gonna be doing it again this Friday. Usually we do Fridays, but for a while we were doing Thursdays because he couldn't do Fridays. But we're gonna be back on Thursday with that. And you know, I always got my collab with Ryan and then too. But I wasn't really featuring guests on my channel or doing stuff for my channel just itself. But now the training camps kicked in. You know, we got a whole bunch of new stuff to talk about other than the quarterbacks going back and forth. Sure. You know, so it's gonna be a lot of fun. Let me see what's up to Webroski really quick. He's in the chat. Said I'm jelly. And they said my dad never told me happy birthday. Sorry about that, bro. If that's the case.
Well, happy birthday to you, my guy. And I don't know how old you are.
Hey, it's your birthday every day, Webroski. Trust me.
For sure. You know,
he's awesome, dude. I'd love to have him back on the channel too. He's been on as a caller before in the past. We were doing calls earlier, Webroski. So when I do another one, probably next week or so, I'll let you know, and we can get that taken care of. But again, thank you guys for watching 49er Minded, where we get into the minds of 49er fans. Keep staying 49ers and keep repping the 49ers and stay 49er minded. Let's go. Peace. Preseason is going to be over pretty soon, and going to get the first preseason game coming up very soon, guys. Let's go.
For sure.
Come on, 49er fans, let's get it.
Because it's 49er mind.
We got to do this one time for the Empire.
It's 49er mind. It's 49er mind.
We gotta get that brick by brick done quick.
49er mind.
Yeah. Yo, we can't listen to them haters, man.
49er mind.
We from the Bay.
49er mind.
We them San Francisco 49ers.
49er mind.
We got that red and gold blood inside us.
49er